1. Waking up at 3 a.m. A common concern. Waking up at exactly 3 a.m., fully alert despite knowing you need more rest, is an experience many older adults share. You might find yourself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, frustrated and confused about why your body won't cooperate. While it might feel like a harmless quirk or just a bad night's sleep, this repeated early morning wakefulness is often a sign of deeper biological and emotional changes. As we age, our sleep patterns naturally shift. This isn't a sign that something is wrong with you, it's a normal part of the aging process. Hormonal changes, especially a reduction in melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, can make it harder to stay asleep through the night. Additionally, shifts in circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, cause older adults to feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. Understanding these changes can be incredibly empowering. When you know why it's happening, you're better equipped to respond. You can start making gentle adjustments to your habits, sleep environment, and mindset. Rather than seeing your 3 a.m. wake up as a failure, you can view it as your body communicating its needs. With the right approach, you can begin to feel more in control of your nights and enjoy deeper, more restful sleep. 2. The role of melatonin and circadian rhythm. As we grow older, our body's production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep, gradually declines. Melatonin is released in response to darkness, helping signal to the body that it's time to wind down and rest. In younger adults, melatonin levels rise in the evening and stay elevated throughout the night, promoting continuous sleep. However, in older adults, this cycle becomes disrupted. Lower melatonin levels can lead to difficulty falling asleep, frequent awakenings during the night, and waking up too early in the morning. In addition, aging affects the circadian rhythm, the internal clock that controls our sleep-wake cycles. This clock tends to shift earlier with age, meaning you may feel sleepy earlier in the evening and naturally wake up before dawn, even if you haven't had enough rest. Environmental factors can also worsen these effects. Not getting enough natural daylight during the day, or being exposed to too much artificial light in the evening, like phone or TV screens, can confuse your circadian rhythm even more. This makes it harder for your body to know when it should be awake and when it should sleep. Understanding this shift helps you take practical steps to support your natural rhythms. Exposure to sunlight in the morning, reducing screen time before bed, and creating a calming bedtime routine can help reinforce your body's sleep signals and restore balance to your nights. 3. Stress, worry, and the 3 a.m. wake-up call. Waking up around 3 a.m. isn't always about hormones or biology. It can also be your mind trying to process stress. During the early morning hours, your brain moves into a lighter stage of sleep. This makes it easier for stress, anxiety, or unresolved thoughts to surface. If you've been worried about your health, finances, or family, your brain may choose this quiet time to bring those worries to the front. At 3 a.m., your body's stress hormone, cortisol, begins to rise in preparation for the day ahead. But if your stress levels are already high, this natural increase in cortisol can make you feel alert instead of relaxed. You might find yourself lying awake, replaying conversations, making mental to-do lists, or worrying about things out of your control. This kind of wakefulness often feels different from simply being restless. It's usually accompanied by a racing mind and a sense of urgency or unease, even though nothing has changed externally. What's worse, once you're awake and frustrated about not sleeping, your body produces even more stress hormones, making it harder to fall back asleep. The key is to recognize that this kind of wake-up is common and not a personal failing. Techniques such as deep breathing, journaling, or guided relaxation can help quiet your mind and ease you back into rest. Over time, managing stress during the day can make these early wake-ups less frequent and less intense. 4. Blood sugar and the 3 a.m. dip. Another hidden cause of waking up around 3 a.m. could be related to your blood sugar levels. As you sleep, your body continues to use energy, and if you haven't eaten enough in the evening or if your meals were unbalanced, your blood sugar may drop during the night. When this happens, your body reacts by releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to bring your sugar levels back up. But these hormones can also wake you up, often suddenly and with a sense of alertness. This is especially common in older adults or those with prediabetes or diabetes. You might not feel hungry when you wake up, but your body is signaling that something is out of balance. In some cases, people wake up with a racing heart, night sweats, or even slight feelings of anxiety, classic signs of low blood sugar. Eating a small, balanced snack before bed can sometimes help. Something with a mix of protein, healthy fats, and a little complex carbohydrate, like a small handful of nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with peanut butter, or a piece of cheese with apple slices, can keep your blood sugar steady through the night. Of course, if you suspect blood sugar issues, it's always best to talk to your doctor. But making small dietary changes in the evening can go a long way in supporting uninterrupted, restful sleep. 5. Nighttime bathroom trips, nocturia. Waking up at 3 a.m. might simply be your bladder calling. As we age, it's common to experience a condition called nocturia, the need to wake up one or more times during the night to urinate. This can be due to a variety of reasons: reduced bladder capacity, changes in kidney function, or even medications that increase urine production, such as diuretics often used for high blood pressure. In addition, some people tend to drink a lot of fluids in the evening, especially water or herbal teas, which can add to the problem. And if you have conditions like diabetes, heart failure, or an enlarged prostate, in men, the urge to urinate at night can become more frequent and disruptive. While one bathroom trip per night might be normal, frequent awakenings can interfere with deep sleep and leave you feeling tired the next day. What can help? Try reducing fluid intake 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Avoid caffeine and alcohol in the evening. They can irritate the bladder. Elevate your legs during the evening if you have swelling. They'll release retained fluid earlier in the day. Talk to your doctor about medications or tests if this happens often. Managing nocturia can improve your sleep quality and help you feel more rested and energized. 6. Stress and worries keep you awake. It's no secret, stress can keep your mind racing at night. Many older adults find that worries about health, family, finances, or even just the passage of time seem to hit hardest in the early hours of the morning. This quiet time, when everything is still, can make anxious thoughts louder and harder to ignore. As we age, our ability to manage stress changes. Hormonal shifts, fewer distractions, or even chronic pain can make nighttime anxiety worse. And if you've had a pattern of poor sleep, you might start to dread waking up at 3 a.m., creating a cycle of stress and wakefulness. This mental unrest doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your sleep quality and overall well-being. What can help? Establish a calming bedtime routine. Dim the lights, read, or listen to soothing music. Write down your worries before bed. Getting them out of your head can quiet your thoughts. Practice deep breathing or meditation if you wake up anxious. Consider speaking with a counselor or therapist if nighttime anxiety becomes overwhelming. A peaceful mind is essential for restful sleep, and with a few small changes, you can gently guide yourself back to better nights. 7. Hormonal changes that disrupt sleep. As we grow older, our hormones go through many changes, and some of these directly affect our sleep. One key hormone is melatonin, often called the sleep hormone. Melatonin helps regulate your body's internal clock, telling it when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. Unfortunately, as we age, our bodies produce less melatonin. This can lead to lighter sleep, more frequent awakenings, and earlier waking times, like 3 a.m. For women, menopause can also bring hormonal shifts, like decreased estrogen, that increase night sweats, anxiety, and insomnia. For men, lower testosterone levels may also contribute to sleep disturbances. These changes are completely natural, but they can be frustrating, especially when you're doing everything else right. What can help? Create a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet to support natural melatonin production. Avoid bright screens before bed, as blue light can suppress melatonin. Talk to a healthcare provider about natural supplements or hormone therapy if needed. Understanding the hormonal side of sleep can give you more control and more compassion for what your body is going through. 8. Stress and worry often peak at night. Have you ever noticed how your mind seems to race more at night? When everything is quiet and still, your brain finally has space to process everything, from daily worries to deeper emotional concerns. This is especially true around 3 a.m., when your stress hormones like cortisol can spike unexpectedly. For older adults, worries about health, family, finances, or simply aging itself can become more pronounced in the stillness of the night. Your mind may replay conversations, regrets, or fears, making it hard to fall back asleep. And once your mind is fully alert, it can feel impossible to calm it down again. Stress doesn't just disturb your mind, it also keeps your body in a state of alertness, which is the exact opposite of sleep. Over time, this pattern can become a nightly habit that reinforces itself. What can help? Practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or gentle stretches before bed. Keep a notepad by your bed to write down racing thoughts or to-do lists so your brain doesn't have to hold on to them. Try calming herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm in the evening. Consider cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, if nighttime anxiety is persistent. When you manage stress more effectively, your mind becomes quieter and sleep becomes more restful. 9. Lack of physical activity during the day. As we age, it's easy to fall into a more sedentary lifestyle, especially if we experience joint pain, fatigue, or limited mobility. But a body that doesn't move much during the day often has a hard time settling down at night. Because physical activity helps regulate your circadian rhythm, improves mood, and reduces restlessness. When your body isn't physically tired, it doesn't send strong signals to the brain that it's time to sleep. Instead, you may feel oddly alert at bedtime or wake up in the middle of the night with excess energy. This can lead to a frustrating cycle of poor sleep and daytime fatigue. Regular movement, even light activity, can make a big difference. Walking, stretching, gardening, or gentle strength exercises not only support better sleep but also boost heart health, balance, and overall vitality. What can help? Aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes of light to moderate activity during the day. Try exercising outdoors in the morning for a natural boost of sunlight, which reinforces your sleep-wake cycle. Avoid intense workouts too close to bedtime, they can be too stimulating. Keeping your body active during the day helps your body naturally wind down at night. 10. Emotional stress and worry at night. For many older adults, nighttime becomes a time when the mind refuses to rest. Without the distractions of daytime activities, unresolved thoughts, worries, or emotional stress can come rushing in. This mental noise can be especially intense around 3 a.m. when the world is quiet and your mind has nothing else to focus on. Stress, anxiety, or even subtle emotional unrest can trigger the body's stress response system, raising cortisol levels and making it difficult to fall back asleep. You might find yourself replaying past events, worrying about your health, or thinking about loved ones. Even if you manage to fall asleep again, the sleep may be shallow and unrefreshing. What can help? Develop a calming bedtime routine, like light reading, soft music, or deep breathing. Write down your worries in a journal before bed to release them from your mind. Practice gentle mindfulness or relaxation techniques if you wake up in the night. Limit exposure to distressing news or stimulating content in the evening. Taking care of your emotional health is just as important as caring for your physical body, especially for better sleep. 11. Case study, Grace and her midnight reflections. Grace, a retired teacher in her late 60s, often found herself waking up in the middle of the night with a vague sense of unease. She wasn't in pain, and there was no noise to disturb her. It was something deeper. Her mind would quietly fill with memories, unfinished thoughts, or feelings she didn't have time to explore during the day. At first, she found it frustrating and confusing. Why was she wide awake at 2 a.m. with nothing obviously wrong? Over time, Grace began to understand that these wake-ups weren't just random. They were gentle nudges from her inner self, asking for attention. It wasn't insomnia, it was reflection. She realized she needed a space to let those emotions out. Grace decided to start journaling before bed. Each evening, she'd spend 10 to 15 minutes writing down her thoughts, fears, joys, worries, hopes. This simple act helped her mind feel heard and acknowledged, making it easier for her to rest. Within a few weeks, her sleep improved. She still woke up occasionally, but the emotional unrest had quieted. Her nights became more peaceful, and she began to see those midnight moments not as interruptions, but as invitations to care for her inner world. 12. Final thoughts. Listen with compassion. Waking up at 3 a.m. might feel like a disruption, but it doesn't always mean something is wrong. In fact, it could be your body, your mind, or even your heart trying to speak to you in the quietest part of the night. These early wake-ups may be invitations, opportunities to pause, listen, and respond with care. Rather than reacting with frustration or fear, try approaching these moments with curiosity and kindness. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? What emotion might need attention? Is there something I've been ignoring during the day that's surfacing now? Sometimes, the answer lies in small adjustments, changing bedtime habits, creating a more restful environment, or simply acknowledging feelings that have been left unspoken. Other times, the answer is just to breathe, accept the moment, and allow yourself to be present. Sleep is more than a biological process. It's a reflection of your overall well-being. By listening with compassion and responding with patience, you can gradually restore deeper rest and reconnect with your inner rhythm.